This is Jennifer with iCadenza, and I'm here with soprano Jacquelynne Fontaine. So, Jacquelynne, tell me about how you got started with opera.
I got started in opera a little bit later than most people. I started studying music when I was about 9 years old. I studied the piano. And when I was in college, when I first started college, I decided to study voice. I'd always loved playing the piano and singing standards and musical theater. And so when I started studying voice, the teacher said, you have to learn the classical style. And I'm like, well, I love classical music and I like to sing, so okay, I'll humor you. And the more I did it, the more I loved it. You know, it was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life. And at one point she told me that opera is the Olympics of singing. And I said, okay, I'm going to do it now. and ever since then, it was my junior year of college that I decided to pursue opera. And ever since then, it really has felt like the right path.
That's wonderful. And for you, loving classical music as a young person and finding it so important in your life, what do you think it is about classical music that just draws you in?
The complexity, the honesty, and I connect to it in a very deep spiritual level. I remember I would put in one certain CD of Claire de Lune with Rachmaninoff's Second Piano Concerto, and I would listen to that for hours. And it just spoke to me. It spoke to my soul.
And I think so many other people feel that with this type of music. And so what's it like for you to be on stage performing it in these roles?
It's otherworldly. You don't feel like it's yourself performing. Sometimes you just feel like a vessel, or you're just caught up in this enormous wave of joy. It really is a wonderful feeling to be singing with an orchestra and to be completely enwrapped in a character. It's addicting.
Now, you've had some experience and wonderful successes with competitions, which is a really different side of the coin in terms of classical music.
Very much so. What's
that like in terms of the preparation process and also when you're in the midst of it? How is that different from a performance?
Exactly. I mean, it's almost against the point of music. Music is supposed to be appreciated and deeply felt. And when you judge it, when you're judging a person's performance, that almost seems like the antithesis of music. But it is subjective, and you prepare for it in any way you would prepare performance. You study the text, you study the background, the history, the type of articulation that was correct to the time period. And there always is a little bit more edge when you go out there and compete. But I've been really lucky that I've done so much competing that when I go out there, it's just a wonderful performance. And I at the end of the day, I don't care what the outcome is. I care that I had fun on stage and the audience did as well.
Now, for you, you're almost done with your doctorate at USC.
Yes.
So, what was the motivation for pursuing that advanced degree, and how do you think it served you at this point?
I decided to do the doctorate because I absolutely love every facet of music. I love the history of it. I love conducting. The theory terrified me, but now that I've taken all of the requisites for it, I absolutely adore it. And plus, I love to teach. And I know one day as a soprano, my voice, will have a shelf life. And I want to have a family at one point. And I thought, what better venue than to share music other than teach? And for me, it's the same thing. Whether you're performing, whether you're teaching, you're sharing music and sharing the joy of it. So doing this doctorate has just facilitated my future in teaching. But it has also given me time to become a better singer.
That's wonderful. And you also are unique in the classical music world for your background in beauty pageants. And you were the winner of Miss California a few years ago. So what was that experience like, and how has that worked together with your training as a singer?
It has helped so much, actually, because when you prepare for a pageant, you learn how to put on your hair and your makeup the best. You are in an evening gown. Talent in the Miss America system is a huge component of the scoring. And so it's basically like being a classical musician. The competition, the pressure, it's all very similar. And, you know, people love to joke that there are divas in the classical musical world and there are divas in the pageant world. And it's very similar, but you'll find that it's not very true. You know, when you get to a certain place, everyone's happy to be there and happy to support each other. So I was prepared for the competition, and it's only helped me. Funny story, I was going out on stage for Miss America, terrified. You know, this is for a live television audience, millions of people, and I thought, oh my God, I've dreamed of this my whole life, to be on the Miss America stage. And what centered me was the thought, this won't be as scary. One day I'm going to do the Met competition. When I do that, then I can be terrified. And I was fine. So then when I did the Western Regional Met competition, and I was scared before going on, I said, you know what? I was on the Miss America stage. I'm not going to be nervous. So it helped.
That's perfect. It all works together.
Yeah, definitely.
And it seems like in the pageant world, it's not just about being a performer, but being a complete person and projecting that image. And I can only imagine that is tremendously helpful.
Very much so, because a huge component of the Miss America system, aside from talent, is interview. That makes up basically the entire basis of the pageant. It's a scholarship organization. They want to promote young women to be the best versions of themselves. It's not just how you look in an evening gown, it's who you are when you are in that evening gown. So being able to refine your speaking skills, refine your presentation, only helps you in your career and, well, the rest of your life.
What are some tips from that world that you found especially useful as an artist who has to present themselves that other people who don't have the opportunity to do Miss America might benefit from?
That's a very good question. Makeup. The makeup and hair. And that would take a whole other interview to tell. But just when you are Miss California, when you're Miss America, your job is to be a goodwill ambassador, is to make other people feel comfortable and to make them just feel warm and happy. What other job would she have, you know? As a musician, as an opera singer, that's our job too. And if we remember that, and remember that it's not about ourselves and looking the best and being the best, but that it's about to share that joy, we'll always be happy. Yeah.
Wonderful advice. Sure. So what's coming up next for you? You have some very exciting plans.
I do. I'm in my packing wear. I'm off to Pittsburgh on Sunday to do Kathy, the female lead in The Student Prince. It's an operetta, and it will be at the Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera. I'm very excited because it's one of the best regional companies in America, and hopefully this pushes me a little bit further. I'm open to anything, musical theater, operetta, opera, I love it all. And then in August, I'm traveling to Germany to compete in the International Competizione dell'Opera. It's a competition of Italian opera in Germany. And frankly, I'm happy it's Italian instead of German. So that will be very fun. I'm looking forward to that as well.
Wonderful. How exciting. And what are your dreams and goals going forward? I'm assuming living in this world of opera in itself is just so wonderful, but what do you hope the future will hold for you?
I just keep doing the same thing, performing in different venues, experiencing the culture all around the world, and being able to touch people's lives and have them touch me in as many different places and have fun. I would love to record a CD. I would love to do both musical theater and opera, and I would love to teach. So in anything I do, I will be sharing music, and it's joy.
And what's the most unexpected thing you've learned from this experience as an opera singer? That the show always goes on, no matter what. I was in Italy, and it was the opening night of Don Giovanni, and I was Donna Anna, the prima donna, as the director said. And they gave me this costume that snapped open, and it didn't zip. So when I did something very dramatic right before my big aria, and I turned around and held myself, the entire costume popped open. And so my co-star, thank God, he was a gentleman, ran behind and pinned me back up. And so I mean, you just learn that stuff's going to happen. You know, it's going to be crazy. Just have fun with it and expect it. And that's what makes it fun. Wonderful. Yeah. Well, it was so great speaking with you today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.